your subjects demand free bridge crossings. No tolls. I'll give you a call at the palace later.
Got to drive a couple hundred miles to Kent in the morning. Be okay. Either way, it's happening.
Good morning, everyone. Well, here we are. It's about 6 a.m. this morning. We're off to Kent. Decided to go down the Great North Road, the A1. Don't like the M1. Too much traffic. And we're just going to get some petrol first. And then we'll go. So, see you soon. Onto the Great North Road, the A1. About an hour just to get from my home to here, which is pretty good. Traffic looks good. We're off! There we go. London, M25, across the Queen Elizabeth Bridge, on the A2, down into Kent. Weather's good, visibility's good, it's all good. So pulled into services. There's a little travel lodge which is a budget hotel, Burger King and Greg's. Great. But I bought my own food, packed it. I've already been munching, had breakfast on the hoof. I'm going to have a little coffee, I'm going to use the facilities. So yeah, I'm a little bit worried. You know, government restrictions, or some government restrictions are being lifted, and but it's still, you know, sort of can't go indoors without a mask, wash your hands, you know, sneeze in your elbow and all the other stuff, and yeah, follow the rules. So those restrictions are still in place. Just a little bit worried, you know, sort of being virtually under house arrest for, you know, sort of last 3 or 4 months. You're allowed to go out once for exercise, or if you need to go food shopping, or unless you were working, but it's basically no travel was allowed. So this is the first time we've been out on a reasonable run anywhere for the last 3 or 4 months, in fact for a year, because, you know, all through the summer last year and right from the start of March of 2020 was COVID, you know. And the media, the government, they put fear into everybody. It's so annoying because, you know, with a little bit of care and you know, a little bit of caution, you know, if we just looked after our old people and spent money on that instead of locking down and shutting everything. There's no shops open, there's no restaurants open, you can have takeaway but you can't eat indoors. You know, people could have gone about their normal lives, I think, and there'll be people who disagree with me saying that. So anyway, following the rules, and I'm just going to take a little break, so I'll see you soon. So I'm having myself a nice little coffee that I made earlier in the mocha pot before I left home. And this is a quiet little place. It's the reason I chose it, I think, really, so there's not too many people around. And just about ready to go again. I had to stop, I was starting to feel a bit drowsy. That's not good, so always take a stop every 2 hours, even if it's a short 5-minute break. Just have a little walk around and refresh myself. So, cheers. Coming up on our right is Duxford Air Base, which is a World War II and aircraft museum. Now on the M11, 149 miles travelled, average miles per gallon 63. Got 68 miles left to travel, so I'm gonna stop at the next service station because I'm gonna be far too early. So a little cup of coffee and maybe even a little snooze, I think, is in order. Lovely. Originally this trip was going to be to pick up a Valiant 250 rib tender that I bought on eBay, but the guy cancelled the payment and no explanation at all. So I sent him an email and said, this is what I said. Actually, I didn't say that. It came back with quite a polite reply. He apologised and said that he didn't like to accept PayPal because fees are expensive and he'd take cash on collection. That was great. I said, thanks very much. Sorry I had a little bit of a rant there. And he came back and said, that's fine, no worries. So I did go have a look at it. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it in the car. The actual rib itself is terrific. It's got a 4 horsepower Mariner engine with it, absolutely great, and it's got a fiberglass hull. And you can get this little tender up on the plane doing 12-14 knots. It's great. It's just what I wanted, but I couldn't bring it away with me, so I brought the engine home, but not the tender. So I've just ordered a roof rack, and I'm waiting for that to arrive, and then we can go and pick that up, and we're ready. Oh, step 25. 33 miles to go, 40 minutes, and as usual it's busy. People circumnavigate the world, but it's not as painful as circumnavigating London on the M25, I can tell you that for certain. We're just coming on to Queen Elizabeth II Bridge, which crosses the River Thames. It's a toll bridge. We paid £2.50 each way. Dear Queen Elizabeth, why do you need to take £2.50 from your poor subjects? You've got loads. You've got your Fabergé eggs and your jewel-encrusted crown locked away in the Tower of London. We, your subjects, demand free bridge crossings. No tolls. I'll give you a call at the palace later. towards Canterbury. We've got 24 minutes left to travel. 17 miles. We've been travelling driving for 3 hours 50 minutes, and we've got an average miles per gallon of 65, which is really good. And then he goes back into the other lane. White Van Man, scourge of the British motorways. Shopping centre called Blue Water. It's a huge place. Built in an old quarry some years ago. Don't know when. So we're on the M2 and 15 miles to go. We've travelled 203 miles so far. We are nearly there.
Yet admitted to myself, at least consciously, that acting is what I wanted to do, but once I think I maybe kept the aspirations to be a performer from other people and even from myself. It was some sort of secret that I didn't want to sully with.
Okay, that's all for this week. Thanks very much for watching, and join us next time as we get aboard a Kelt 8-metre yacht for the very first time and have a good look around and see what we've got. Don't forget, give us a thumbs up if you like the videos, subscribe if you want to see more. It really does help us to carry on making content. Thanks very much. See you next time.